Top of the morning to you, people. Hey, grandkids call me Roo. I'm working on all bells and whistles here. Got all both hands going. Thank you for being on the show this morning. Let me say hello to you, and then we're going to get right into it. It's Saturday morning. It's some day in May. I think it might be the 14th. I believe Friday yesterday was the 13th. Thank you so much for all the response yesterday on just a little blurb I put out about the show coming up. And for all of you who are already piled on the show, I'm grateful that you're here. So here's what we're going to do. Maybe a little bit of a glitch in the show today because I've got four programs running. I've got a guest waiting in the green room. I can't wait till you meet Margot and get to hear about her and her art. But let me say hello to you right now, okay? Um, Let's see. And I may pull. Boop. Okay, Marco muted herself. Great. Okay, so here we go. So let me do this. Let me say hello, Alice. Good morning to you. Thanks for being on the show, Jason Nicholas. Hey man. In fact, Jason, today I'm actually painting. If you see a little bit of a lag or a glitch today, it's because I got so many windows open and doing so many things. I got videos up I want you to see. And it's Saturday morning. Everybody's home and they're watching something online. So here's what we'll do. Jason, I'm going to paint a couple things on the show today that are a rooster or two, well, depending on how the outcome of the blank piece of paper turns up, that's going to show up in New Jersey to you for your event coming up. So just going to actually do that live, working without a net. That's kind of what I like to do. Sometimes just go, hey, let's see what happens when you don't do it the right way. You just think like an artist and you do it. Okay, so that's kind of where this is going to come down a little bit. So Randall Taylor Craven, thanks for being on the show. Pat Brooks, always a privilege and a pleasure to have you on the show. Appreciated your post this morning. I saw that early. Cindy Wiltermood, come on. The painting with the chair, off the chain. Just really fabulous. Great job. Sharon Clark, thanks for being on the show. Trish Brown, love it. Bert Crone from Greenville, I don't even have to look. I know where you are. Laura Abbott, thank you for your work. It's a dance. It's like a chicken day. Hey, Mark Langston, my musician friend from Colorado Springs. No, you're in Denver. I don't even know where you are. I should know where you live someday. You know, I'm overdue to make a visit to Colorado. I need to come out there and paint some Colorado chickens. Catherine Brousseau, thanks for being on the show. Karen Pikert, thank you for being here. Glenda Edwards Small, Linda Schleitning. All right, so Skeeter Pal, I'm looking forward to seeing you in September, buddy. We're gonna be a part of this. So Elaine, thank you. John Robert Small, blessings. Denise Albright, Jimmy Jensen. God, I love all the people just piling on here and saying hello to one another. So got a lot going on today. So I'm going to jump into it. And here's what we'd like to do. Jeanette Seal, thank you from Western Colorado. Colorado has shown up today. That means you guys are up, along with Denise, who's out on the West Coast. You guys are up. It's still dark outside, okay? Lori Stanley, Handelmeyer Henderson, thanks for being on the show. Steve Catlett. All right, here we go. Let me see. Jump down to the bottom of the page. Who's got on? Virginia Man, Stephen Dockery, still painting birds. Stephen, you'll appreciate this. Stephen hangs out sometimes. He's a local gentleman who hangs out sometimes in my backyard, but also he hangs out at Brakeman's, Brakeman's is a coffee shop in the little town of Matthews, which is about 12 minutes, 15 minutes from where I live. I go there because it has my favorite hardware store in the country. I mean, it's just, Renfro's is just awesome. The people that run it that are awesome, I just love it. In fact, I may take my granddaughter there later today because she needs to go in what I call an old-timey, come on, hardware. But it's just a hardware that has everything. And so I've known them for a while and I visit with them and go over there. In fact, I've taken them a couple paintings. But the point is, Steve hangs out there. Sometimes I see him at the coffee shop, and that's where I met Margot, who you're going to see in just a little bit. I was over there one morning on a Saturday morning a few weeks ago, literally at the farmer's market, and wound up bumping into Margot at a little pop-up art shop and art outside the coffee shop there, and loved the fact that she was painting what she was painting, some acrylic paintings there at the time, and we talked about art, and I just said, man, I would love to interview you sometime, but the ball is in your court, Margot. If you ever want to do that, send me a note. And she did. And so I just want you when you see her this morning and when you ask her some questions through the text here, and I'm going to ask her some. I want you to just encourage her, and so I know you can do that in a great way. So Sue Kane, all the way from southern Australia. I don't know what time you're up. It's what, 11 o'clock at night there or something like that, or it could be even the next day. So all right, here we go. Let's do this. This has been fun. I got to show you one little piece of. No, I'm going to show you a video later, so I'm going to jump right into the interview. Here's what my desk looks like this morning. If you can see. I lost audio. Yeah. Sorry. No sound. Thank you very much. Okay, I lost the audio there, so I'm saying here's a piece of paper, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a little wacky today, so just stay with me for just a little bit, and I'll figure it out. It's 10:30, Sue Kane. All right, I think sound's back, so let's do it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I want to introduce you to someone, and I'm just going to pick a piece of music that I think is going to represent some of her painting. How about that? I just clicked on the button. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Here we go. All right, so Margot's standing by. I'm going to pull the microphone, and Rhonda DeHart said, "Oh gosh, I think I thought it was me." She said something, and the audio went out. So here we go. Let me just add. Let me see if I can come up with a headshot here of me. There I am. Let me see if I can add Margot to the left side of this one way or the other. There she is right there. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Margot, okay? So let me tell you just a little bit. Good morning, Margot. Wait a minute. I don't have you here. Oh, there you are. Perfect. Let me turn this music down. Thank you for getting up. You're probably... are you within the radius of Charlotte or Matthews?
Yeah.
Is that home for you?
Yeah, like 15 minutes from break.
Okay, all right, perfect. So we'll take our time here because people are going to respond to you. And I don't know if you can see the quotes or not, but I will. I'll pass some on to you if I can. Folks, if you have a question for Margot, once we start, give me just a few minutes and I'll try to bring you about how I met her and what I'd heard she's doing, and then we'll let her talk a little bit. And then if you got some questions, just go QQQ, and I'll do a search window and we'll go from there, okay? All right. If you hear a little bit of a feedback going through, don't worry about it. It's the sound loop and echo of our microphone. So here we go. Jacqueline Browse, people are already saying hello to you, Margot, and Jacqueline is up in Paul Bunyan country. They're just all over the world, so it's going to be fun. So Margot, tell me this. I think you're a sophomore in high school. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm 16.
Wow. Okay, so a sophomore in high school. Finish that up, coming into your junior year. So tell us this. We all want to know this right off the bat. How long have you been, I'm a little lean on you here, thinking like an artist, but how long have you been painting or doing something artistic with your hands?
Well, I mean, art has always been my biggest hobby ever since I was really young. And I definitely say in like the past 5 years, I really got into it. Yeah.
Okay, so for don't you love it, folks? You got to love it when she says since she was really young, right? We're all going like, Margot, you still are young, my dear friend. I love it. I love it. So that's great. So when I walked by that day, you were sitting in the hot sunshine, just not even under a pop-up tent. I think there was a young lady sitting beside you who was probably a senior in high school. Celia, I think, was her name, if I recall. And y'all are sitting there and the sun's beaming in. And I'm thinking, man, it's a good thing you're using. I was worried about your acrylics. I thought they might melt. It was that hot. But you're sitting out there. Do you do art shows like that very often?
No, that was actually my first one. I was really excited about it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And did you have a good response? I'm not going to ask you if you sold things, but did people come by and were they cordial? And did you talk to them about art?
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was really nice to talk to people, and I met a lot of really cool people.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. All right. So tell me this. I'm going to show folks, I'm going to show a little bit of Margot's art in just a second. Now did you start with acrylics? Did you start with watercolor? Well, we know at your very young age you started with crayons or whatever your parents put in your hands. But tell us about how it started and link that in with an answer of what kind of space do you create with now in home? Where are you? Tell us a little bit about not, don't be too specific. We don't want to know where you live exactly, but what we do want to know is what your studio, these folks build little, I'm always telling people to build a spot that they can have as sort of their own spot. So tell us about your spot and then tell us a little bit about the tools that you use right now.
Awesome. Okay, so I started art definitely using a lot of acrylic, and I did a lot of portraits and just pencil. So that's kind of what got me into portraits because I've just always been fascinated by drawing people. It's really interesting to me. And I do art in my garage. I turned this little area of it into a studio, and it's really cute.
Oh.
There's a bunch of art on the wall. It's really fun.
Okay, so you just said to the parents, you got to leave the car outside. I'm going to make a studio in the garage.
Yeah, basically.
I love it. That's great. All right, so that tells me a little bit about your parents and how they're supporting your art cause here, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Have you always felt that from them? Have you always felt that my parents are supporting me in art?
Yeah, for sure. They've always been really supportive, especially my mom. She's like my number one fan, and I've
Way to go,
always felt,
mom. If you're even
yeah,
watching, mom, way to go. Okay.
yeah, she
Oh,
definitely motivates me, which has made it a lot easier to pursue it.
wow. Okay. Tell us about this. So you've got a spot and it's set up. Uh, Table. Do you paint standing up? Do you paint sitting down? Are you painting on easels? Tell you what you're doing.
So I have an easel and I have a desk, and I kind of go back and forth. Like if it's something bigger, I'll use my easel, and then if it's a small thing, I go to my desk. And sometimes I go outside too. I like doing that.
Oh, so we kid about this on the show here because I'm a Southern gentleman, uh, and we always talk about plein air, which is the French
Hmm.
call. But on this show, Margot, we just call it painting outside. We're in the South. Okay, so you
Makes
go
sense.
outside. So you like the natural light, which God no better light than what God made. So you're painting
Mhm.
standing up. And did you start with acrylics? What did you start with?
Yeah, definitely acrylics painting wise, because that's kind of like the basics. It's easiest to get. And then I started oil, I would say
Woo!
6 months ago. So
Oh
I haven't been
wow!
doing it as long, but it's really fun.
Okay, hey, you folks, are you listening? She said oil is really fun. And I have spent the last 3 years, Marco, telling people that watercolor is fun and that they
Hmm.
shouldn't fear it. I'm the guy who's going to have to preach to himself and say, nah, I'm kind of afraid of oil because there's so much pushing around. But I love the fact that you're saying it's fun. So,
Oh, thank you.
so you've got this area. Do you paint on always on canvas, or do you use other materials to paint on?
I use a lot of canvas, sometimes just canvas paper,
Oh,
or yeah.
okay, so
That's
not wrapped canvases as much as just like a rip off canvas paper that you use.
mostly wrapped canvases, and then sometimes canvas paper.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So when you get ready to paint something, and then I'm going to go to some questions because I know people are going to be asking some questions. So we're going to cue those in and get some of those answered from you. So you've got this space that you've made into a studio, and Roodoodles folks, listen to this. What have we been talking about forever? Find yourself a space that you can go to, that you can take your tea or your cheer wine or your Coca Cola into, and say, okay, iced tea, whatever it is, and you find a space that you can go create in. Because if you have to clear off the dining room table all the time to do this, if you have to go move everything and then set up the easel each time and go through it all, or even lay out the stuff that I have even on my desk here, your creativity, style, and speed of the amount of time that you have is going to be stifled. You're going to put it into a box. So the sooner that if you want to see your art grow, find yourself a small space. And look, mine is 20 by 30 here. It's on a tabletop, but I really create everything. Well, there's and the reasons for that because everybody knows I do small art, but at the same time, Carol, when she paints downstairs, she has a little space. There are tabourets there. The brushes are standing there. There's a little shelf that has all the paints. So, is that has been very important to you? Is that right, Margot?
Yes, for sure. The atmosphere is really important.
Yeah, just having a place. Now, are you taking some classes now? Did you start on your own? And have you had classes? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I started on my own, and then my parents kind of always sent me to art camps when I was younger. And then I found, have you heard of Holt? It's uptown. I started taking classes there a few years ago, and I've really loved it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So, so folks, hey, look, here's a sophomore in high school. Margot is learning art. She's finding her way through it, and she's investing in it. And so, if you want to see your own visual voice start to come out and you find what you want to do. And right off the bat, did you notice what she said? She said, I love portraits. I love painting faces and people. And so there's something about that draws us into the eyes and into the faces. I think that's remarkable. Let me jump in and grab some questions here from some people, see if there's anything up here. Let me just throw some cues in here. Other than no sound, I think they're just making comments. So if you got a question for Margot, I'm kind of covering it here. You can send it to me, and we'll see it come up. Margot, there's a lot of people watching the show this morning, and so did you have? And there's the answer. Maybe Pat Brooks says, did you have formal training before you started, or was it after you started?
I would say it was after I started,
Okay.
to be honest. Yeah.
That's a great question, Pat, because Pat started like I did, I think. Pat, of course, Pat is illustrated a book that I did recently called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. And so I wrote these ideas. I'll bring you one, Margot. I need to get you a book because I want to encourage you today with this one rule that's in the book. Get behind the mule and keep plowing. And so you just can't stop, And so Pat did all the illustrations, and I talk about the stories and what it's like I didn't have art skills. And so I'm an old guy who didn't paint and didn't, I'm sure I probably colored as a kid, but I think the crayons that I had, I was more interested in melting them and making science experiments out of them than I was making art with them. Just the opposite. Well, maybe no. Maybe it's the same with my wife. We called her in college. Those of you who know my bon vivant wife, Yaya Crayola, her college name was Crayola because she did all of her at the University of Tennessee. She did, and in high school, she did most of her art projects with crayons, and so it was pretty funny. But I think for me, it was learning art and staying behind the mule, and I use that as an illustration of where you just put your hands to the plow and you go, man, I don't feel like I'm making any headway today, but you have to. But it was after you started that you started taking some formal training, and maybe your parents saw, hey, my child is gifted in this. Was there any of that, or?
I think it was kind of more my idea.
Okay.
Because I just knew that it was something I was really interested in, and they really helped me pursue it.
That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Let me see if I can pick up another. John Robert Small just said, yeah, oil is easy, watercolor is difficult. And he would say that because he's painting south of the border, and he's been doing some great acrylic and then oil, and he keeps going, I'm trying some water, but I'm going back to what I love. So
yeah, watercolor is hard.
Yeah, a lot of folks on this show are going to relate to you. Does your school... here's a question for you from my dear friend Jason Nicholas, who says this. And Jason, I'm going to paint something for you this morning, I promise, because I'm going to send it up for you to give away at your event. Jason is an architect teacher in New Jersey, and but is an artist that has a show on the internet that people go. It's called Inkspiration. He loves ink, and I'm encouraging him to take what he does best, and that's the perspective of straight line. And even in faces, you have to have that perspective, but I don't. I'm a flat artist who draws more caricature, whimsical stuff. And so, but I encourage him to do some of what he sees in perspective and do it with ink. He's really good. But his school that he's a part of celebrates young artists every year by this big event. What do your school do about art? That would be good for my audience to know.
We don't have an event like that, but we do have a really good art program, and I take art classes there. And actually, my school did something called, I think it was Recycle the Runway, the most advanced class. They did it, and they made a dress out of all recycled materials, and they ended up getting first place, and the outfit was amazing.
Oh wow. Okay, so the from the
Yeah.
television show Runway,
Yeah, it's
it's a
similar to
spin
Project Runway.
it was a spin
Yeah,
off
yeah.
from that television show.
Hmm.
And so they actually could make a dress from recycled materials. I love that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was
so
awesome.
it sounds like you got a creative, relevant art teacher. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let me see. Jason, I think you got your answer there. They're not doing anything, but they do have lots of arts here. But they're probably I don't know if you're doing anything community. This school is doing something really fun. They bring people together, and Carol was a part of this. My wife Carol was a part of this in Florida. They had this art council that met, and then they would do these. The school had four billboards out front. They were small on the ground billboards, built with concrete, but had interchangeable sections in them. And four pieces of art were juried and selected each year by children
Oh,
in the school, and they got to put it in front of the school.
that is really
And
interesting.
so it was really built the arts program, and that was quite a few years ago in Florida. But she was a story lady, which is an interesting term. But she would wear in a smock, and she could go to the museums in Jacksonville and get art and bring it to the schools and bring in beautiful pieces of art and actually have it in the classrooms for kids to see and look at. And so it was a pretty fun program. She was a part of that for a
Yeah.
year, so that was fun. Um, and folks are saying, my gosh, faces are so hard to do. And I agree. Drawing faces is just tough. And
Yeah.
so for you to do that, and let me show you some of her work right now. Um, here's a Laura Abbott says, wow, love to hear about your studio setup. She has a sewing corner, a weaving, spinning, fiber table. So these folks are in all sorts of things. Basically, who or what who inspires your creativity, Margot? Where do you go that says, oh my goodness, I love what that person does, and we may not even know them, but we can research them. Who is there someone like that, or does it just happen?
Well, a lot of it I think comes just like from within, and my grandmother and my aunt are also both artists. So I think
Ah,
seeing creative people has really inspired me.
okay. And
Yeah.
now, what was their medium? What did they do? What media did they work in? Was it were painters?
Yeah, my grandmother was a painter, and then my aunt, she kind of does a lot of stuff, like really cool abstract things, which is awesome.
Really cool. All right. So let me here we go. Let me see if I can take a piece of your art here and pop it up on the screen. And we get some folks to see one of your pieces. First of all, let me just pop this piece up. It may cover you, but I'll streak it here a little bit. So hold on. You
That's
can talk
okay.
over it. I think it's going to be the eye.
Okay.
Oh, it is a
Yep.
serious eye. Okay, is this on this small screen this morning? I can't see. Is this your eye? Is this someone else's eye? Is this just a made up eye?
No, this is not my eye. I have brown eyes, but
Okay, I couldn't
yeah, this
see on
is
the small
actually,
screens this morning, so I'm sorry.
yeah. Oh, that's okay. This is pretty recent. It's not my eye. It's just a photo I found, and it was a study because I'm starting oil and I want to start oil portraits. So this was me doing different parts of the face to practice.
Ah, listen to that, folks. Did you hear that? Here's what she said. If you didn't hear it, she said, to get into portrait work, you sort of have to start with maybe some different parts of the face. And so, what do we say here all the time? It's probably not best to go buy a 3 by 5 foot canvas and just start with the whole drawing first. What if you just had some small pieces of art and you worked on it in detail and you scaled up? And I think that's really important for anybody to do. There is a funny question here. Well, it was actually a funny comment first. Linda Lawless says, love the fact that you have a studio in the garage, but it wouldn't work here in Wisconsin because we'd be frozen out all the time. Okay, so yeah, living
Oh
in Charlotte is a
gosh.
little different. So when it's 40 below outside, not too much fun. Okay. Let's see here. Let me pull up another painting and you tell us about this one right here. Okay. Let's see. I can't even see what this one is, but I'm going to pop it up and then we'll pull it back. All right. Here we go. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here's a face.
Yes, this was actually the only portrait I've done fully in oil. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but it was a really good learning experience. And it took me a long time, to be honest. Like, my longest painting.
Wow. And so this is oil paint.
Yes.
Okay. Is this from a photo? Or is this from a real person?
It's from a photo. It's
Okay.
an actor. I'm not sure what her name is, to be honest,
That's
but
okay.
I've seen her in movies a
That's
lot.
okay. I love it. Very cool. All right. Let's try this again. These are fun for people to see. Um, Is there a difference? How do you find the difference between working with oil and acrylic? What do you see the big difference?
Mm. Well, okay, with oil, it's a lot more time consuming and a lot more supplies that you'll need, and it dries a lot slower, which I think is nice actually. I think acrylic just dries really fast, which makes it hard sometimes, especially if you're trying to do a portrait or something that you want to add a lot of detail. And oil just has a different effect. It looks so smooth, and I don't know what it is, but something about it is just really different.
Wow. Tell us about this painting.
Yeah, okay. So
It
this
looks
one
like the,
was
am I right? Is this a South African? No, almost looks like a South African flag, but then there's blue in
I mean that wasn't intentional, but sure.
it. Great answer, Margot. You're hilarious. Okay. What is this?
Thanks.
This is good to know.
So it was originally just a pencil portrait I did, and then I went over it with the acrylic and the lines, and then I made prints out of this. So I put it on Adobe Photoshop and went over the lines with color again to make it a little bit smoother.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
That's fascinating. Let me ask you this. Got a couple questions here who say, are there any artists that you follow online? Since today we have this
Oh
whole
yes.
library, who do you follow online? That you say, I like to see what they're doing, not to necessarily be them or copy them, but I'm inspired by them. Who's
Yeah.
that?
Definitely. Honestly, I don't know names, but I follow a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram. Uh, there's a TikToker who does a lot of really cool, like cute little ghosts. Not ghosts in a sad way, but like they have smiley faces, and it's really whimsical and it's really cute.
Cool. All right, couple more minutes here. Let me ask you this: do you have an Instagram account? Can people follow you?
Yes, I do. It's Margot with a T and then art, and the O is a zero.
Okay, Margot with a T, and don't you don't have to ask her. I already have. Do people call you Margot or Margot? I don't know why the T's silent. You'll have to say why is the G silent in Gila Monster. Uh, so here's the thing: it's Margot with a T. One more time, Margot with a T at no art
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it's just Margot art and then the zero or the O is a zero.
Okay, Margot Art and a zero. Margot Art and a zero is Instagram. Those of you who are Instagram, you might want to follow Margot. You can encourage her there and keep up with some of the work you're doing. So you post there. Do you do reels or do you just do photos or? Um,
I just do photos. I'm still trying to get into posting stuff online because it's really scary to post it for everyone you know.
Hey, you know what, Margot? At your age, it's a scary place. At my age, it's a scary place to be online. So you have to be very
Yeah.
careful. And there's a time where there's just so much stuff online, and so you got to choose carefully, and you got to be careful who you are. But I also think that I appreciate you. Instagram seems like a good place that you can control. So that's pretty smart. Um,
Yeah.
any words of wisdom for aspiring artists, Jay? What would you say to someone who says, "Hey, I want to"? If I had a little sister, I'd say, "Be an artist or not be an artist." What would you say?
Oh, definitely be an artist and never be afraid to start art. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's really just about the creative process. And definitely don't compare yourself to other artists because I think we all do that and it's really hard not to. But but everyone's art is so different and it's all amazing.
Wow. Margot needs her own internet show. Stop comparing yourself to other artists and say, I'll never be as good as that person. Oh my heavens. Margot, I'm going to bring you a copy of the book. Well, I'm going to order you a copy because I don't even have a copy here. I have this one. It's been cracked in the mail. So it's my display copy here. But when I was writing this, um, there's several things in here about how we worry about somebody else telling us that our art is not fine art and it's not good enough.
Mhm.
And um, Pat had illustrated it very brilliantly in here in this small book that I'm holding here in my hand. And so I want to bring you a copy for just being on the show. I'll drop it off
Thanks.
at the. I'll either meet you one day or I'll drop it off at the Brakeman's Coffee Shop and
Yeah,
tell those fine folks to give it to you because I want you to be inspired by the people who are on this show because they're sending you all sorts of
definitely.
encouraging notes that you can go back and read later. And you're welcome to pop on this show and respond to any of the questions that you want to. Here's what's good about this. You're on a direction and you're good at what you
Mhm.
do and your work is just going to get better. I look at the eye and I look at the ballerina with all the colors and I'm just going like, great day in the morning. You have a bent, a direction, and a gift, and so we want you to continue to do that. And so, but I'd love for you to see this because what happens is that you do look at other people's art and you say, "I'll never be as good as that person." And then what
Mhm.
happens is it stifles you a little bit, and you say, "Well, I might as well not do it." And look, my name is Han. Rooster is what it means, and so I look on the internet and you see billions and billions of painted roosters. But that didn't stop me from painting them because I thought, well, wait, mine are storytellers because I'm a storyteller. And so you will capture the eye and the essence of the face and the eye because of who you are in your own character. And that's what people need to understand about their art. It's how I
Definitely.
expressed it. So would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, these folks, what size are most of your paintings? Just to give my class and this show an idea of what you do.
Hmm. Usually around 9 by 12, and I've done some bigger ones, like this one right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's of
Whoa,
my dog, and it's it's a lot bigger than my usual pieces.
that is huge. Okay, so most of the time they're
Hmm.
probably manageable between what 12 and 18 inches or 20 something
Hmm.
under 24 by 30, probably under
Yeah,
poster
and then I've done a
size.
few larger ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Do somebody ask? Do you title your paintings? And if you ever did, the one with the stripes, what would that be called?
Oh, that is a good
Uh
question.
huh. So there's you something to work on. And you know who asked that was Sharon Clifton, who is a storyteller. So one of the rules in my show, and excuse me, one of the rules in my life about painting is my painting must always sort of tell a story. And portraits
Hmm.
do that. They tell that soul, that inside. But when you get ready to paint that, you sort of have to put it down and listen to it speak a little bit. So that's something that you can think about for that painting. What would that
Yeah.
painting be called?
Oh gosh, that is
And
a
you don't
really
you,
good
you don't have to
question.
answer now, but that would be a fun thing to respond to someday. It's like, and,
Yeah.
and this would be my encouragement to you that as you guys sit in pop-up shows, and this is an encouragement that I would tell, have I told these folks many times that lots of people in the world will paint whimsical roosters better than I ever will. But thinking like an artist, I think I can connect my piece of art to someone who sees life through my viewpoint or through the perspective of humor or connection or heart or passion or something, even with a few words or a title. And so that's kind of what this show is built to do is to say, you may have art stacking up. What's connecting this art with others? And so that would be, as a conglomerate this morning, that's my encouragement to you. How do I connect that with people? Whose eye
Yeah,
is
that's really
this,
good
or is there
advice.
a thing there? So, Think about that as you lay your art on the floor. Open your garage door and lay it on the driveway and walk around it in
Yeah.
a circle and go, how does this connect to me? But how would this connect to someone else seeing it for the very first time when they walk by and go, here's what you want people to say about your art. And I don't say this as a selfish marketing guy. Do I like to sell things and sell my art and like to give my art away? I gave away 2 little paintings yesterday. Yes. The point is, what pulls them in to say, that drew me in like a bug to a flame?
Yeah, that's important.
So start thinking about that as you paint here. And so, what a fun time! We were going to do a few minutes. We've done a half hour. Does a person have to have talent, or do you believe a person can be trained to just paint? Good
Oh
question.
yeah, for sure. You definitely don't need to have the talent. You just need to have the mentality that you can do it, and you have to just think creatively.
Okay. Someone says they can't find your Instagram at Margot Art Zero.
Oh no, sorry. The zero isn't at the end. It's an O instead of. Or it's a zero
Ah,
instead of an O. If
it's
that
it's
makes
an
sense.
O and not a zero.
No, no, no. Okay,
Hey,
sorry.
no, here's what I'll do. Why don't you send it to me? Send it to me when we're done with this show, and I'll post it on my
Okay.
page and say, here's Margot's Instagram if you all would like to follow her. Uh, Give her softball questions and encourage her. That'll be my 2 cents. So if you want some people to follow you on your Instagram, you got some
Yeah.
folks who would love to do that, okay?
Thank
And
you.
Denise, all you folks are asking, they're already looking for your Instagram account saying, where's Margot? We're going to find it. And so they love the dog. And so, and by the way, dogs connect to everyone. You know that, right, Margot?
Oh yes, I
Okay.
agree.
So every now and then, amongst all your portraits, throw out a dog and your art goes up. And because here's what we want you to do, we want you to continue doing your art, but we also want you to sell some because it sure makes it nice when you go to the art store to say, hey, paid for this with
Yeah.
the sale of those. Okay. And so that'll be great. And someday you're going to need, a small vehicle to carry your easel around in when you're painting on the coast of France.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
All right. And if you watch the rest of the show this morning, in fact, I'm going to run a video right now of Eva Crawford, my dear friend, who is a portrait artist who just did 65 portraits for the city of Charlotte.
Oh, that's
And she
awesome.
has a billboard in Charlotte. So her Instagram is Margot. Oh, the O is in Margot is
Yeah, that's it. The
Jim and
zero.
Jensen has it on the show, people. They're finding it. Hey, look, they're not going to give up. Okay, this is a relentless bunch. So you're going to get some. Thank y'all for following Margot.
Yeah, thank you.
Those of you who go, wait, we don't even follow Rue. We're following Margot. I love it. All right. Hey, blessings, my dear new friend. Thank you. Listen, I'll sign this on behalf of Pat. This is the book that's coming to you. Pat is on the show. Her name is Pat Brooks. And Pat Brooks
Yeah.
is a wonderful illustrator, artist, and she draws the funniest caricatures. She did this little drawing of me right here on the book.
That's awesome.
Because I always wear my glasses on my head, and people say, you're really getting old because you have on 2 pair of glasses. And I go, no, these are just a headband. Okay.
Accessory.
So, oh my gosh. Hey, did you hear what Margot said? These are an accessory. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get some. I got some orange ones somewhere. I'll use those as my accessory from now on. Margot, it's a treat to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Blessings. I'm gonna shut this click off with you, and then I'm gonna run a video right now, folks, of my dear friend Eva, so you can see some portraits from a lady who taught art in schools here in Charlotte for quite a few years, and who was just part of the Van Gogh Artist in Residence program, and. I just shot this video. Carol and I bought by. I shot this run and gun in about an hour. I shot it about an hour and a half, just grabbing pieces. I came in and edited it for her. And so here it is. Get your Rue headband accessory here, Jason says. I love it. Margot, thank you again. Blessings. Tell your parents we all say thank you for supporting you to think like an artist, my dear friend. All right. Goodbye. Wow, what a fun thing that was, huh? Come on. Don't you just love that, people? Hey, take a breath here, and I've got time to paint something else. I want to show you this video right here, if I can show you. This is Eva Crawford. Hey, listen, no kidding. Thank you for encouraging her. You have just took 2 sips out of your cup today and encouraged someone. 1,000 questions, and I'll encourage her to go to the page and respond back to some of that personally because I missed some of them. They're going so fast. I'm hitting buttons here, trying to get her audio in. And here we go. Here's a little video that I shot last week. And it's not like shooting a wedding. I came in and said, look, I'm not getting everybody posed. I just stood up in the room and said, if you have a portrait in this room and your face is on the wall, go stand next to it. And I've got a 1 minute and 30 seconds to run through here and just point the camera at you. And I wanted this to just be click, click, click. And so they're going like, what is this crazy long-haired guy yelling about? Do it now. And so people were going like, oh, my portrait. If they could take these portraits. Here's the story if you haven't seen it yet. Coming at you right now. This is Eva Crawford, my dear friend. Boom.
Hi, welcome to Your Good Neighbor, CLT. This project began last summer by doing portraits of good neighbors as I was an artist in residence at the Van Gogh exhibit. And then it turned into a huge project because there's so much goodness and people kept nominating people for portraits. And so then it turned into this show of 65 portraits of 68 amazing individuals. And what's so much fun is each good neighbor will get to take their portrait home with them at the end of the night for free. And we're also collecting donations of gratitude for 3 organizations: You Stress Inc., Roof Above, and 9189 Studio Gallery. So glad you could make it.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing. It's such an honor to be on this wall together with artists, activists, teachers, so many people that help the community. I am a coordinator of community programs, so I work with the community all the time, and to be celebrated this way is just such an honor. It feels amazing.
Walking through here, I think about the Dr. King quote about the inescapable network of mutuality.
This commitment to bring awareness to acknowledging and improving mental health in the Black community.
In my second home, 9189 Studio Gallery.
But a good friend of mine, Amy King, nominated me, and out of surprise, like just completely amazing. It was just a really cool experience.
I am so excited to be here. Your good neighbor is here. Hello, beautiful people. I am Ohavia Phillips. I adore Eva so much. I'm so very grateful for this initiative of Your Good Neighbor, allowing us to not only appreciate those that are around us, but those who do a good work and don't need a camera in their face, those who do a good work and don't need any accolades or a pat on the back. They just do the good work because they're a good neighbor. I'm honored to be one, but I'm one of the many. Get to know us because we're doing good work every day. Love you!
How fun was that, huh? Isn't it great? I just love pointing the camera and Ohavia at the end, the lady in the orange dress. Oh my gosh. I came over and she was standing in the corner and I'd worked my way around the room. And this is like the last corner before the little coffee stand there. And so in this gallery, and this, by the way, this gallery is not a full-fledged open gallery yet. And so they know their lighting is under they're trying to raise money for it. In fact, one of the things you saw in there was some of the money from the portraits donated, a grant money, and other people gave money for these three causes. One of them was for the gallery to help them with their lighting. And so I was trying to shoot around the glares, and these are black and white charcoal portraits, and they're in just simple frames. But if you were nominated as one of the volunteers that helped serve this city in some form or capacity in some organization, your face went into all these things. And then there were 65 of them picked out, and Eva did all those portraits. And then they thought, we should just bring all these people together and give them their portrait. And so they were able to take it home. At the end, I got the guy said, just steal yours off the wall. And he goes, seriously? But it's a gift. I go, yeah, but I want you to steal it. And so he grabbed it and ran it under his arm. And it turned out I'd chosen a guy who was an actor, so he hammed it up. But Ohavia just went, oh, wait. I said, stop. And she went, oh, did I do something wrong? I said, no, I didn't have my microphone on you. I didn't know you were going to do that. And so Carol and I had a fun talk with her. And she is she runs a kind of a streaming event and talks about volunteers and helps homeless people, and she's a trip anyway. So it was a fun deal. You never know when you're going to get out there and see people who are making a difference, and that's what you're supposed to be doing with your art. Boom. That's what you're supposed to be doing with your cookies you bake and with the tea you drink and all the things that you do. Lighten up and live life a little bit. I'm telling you, it will make a difference in who you are and what's going on in the world. So my heart just, all right. So it was just really great. And I will just tell you, some of the people stood in front of their portrait and they were blown away. Some of them had not seen this portrait until they came to the show because their photographs were sent in. And so they had not connected with the artist. So it wasn't like they all came and did a sitting at the studio, and Eva has a beautiful studio. I called her to be on the show today, and she sent me a very sad response. She said, sorry, I'm going to France today. I'm like, gosh, really? And so she and her husband had this trip planned forever, and part of COVID they couldn't go, and so they've been saving for this trip, and welcome to being an artist. And so anyway, but she called me on a Monday and said, I just got a friend of mine just called me and said I should call you and see if you have any time. Would you come over and do a video for this event? In just the midst of all the things, I didn't even think about documenting it, and I need to get information back to the grant people and back to the Van Gogh people, and I need to. And I said, got it. Carol and I are free Thursday night, so this was a couple weeks ago. So we drove downtown, and found the gallery and never been in there before. And so she said the lady, the owner of the gallery, was the one lady there in the glasses who had given Eva a portrait because she's taking classes, and said, thank you for being here. This is a gallery in progress. I'm going like, no apologies needed. Let's just jump in here and go like wild people. And so I said, but I'm going to be in the way. I'm going to be interruptive with the camera because I'm running around. The lady that I interviewed first on the floor with the braided hair, just the beautiful, she was in a bronze dress. Her face was all bronze. She was just beautiful. And I said, can I just interview you? And she says, yes, of course. And I said, I don't even know. And I said, where are you from? It was so fantastic. And we found international people living here who are working with, it's unbelievable. And so I said, how are you feeling? He goes, it's an honor. And that's how all these people felt. But to watch them stand in front of their portrait and just see their eyes well up was pretty cool. They're going like, someone painted me. Wow. So art can break down that wall and open a heart. In the words of that great storyteller, Jerry Clower, laughter can open the heart so that love sneaks in. I think art can do that too. I think art can open the heart so that love can sneak in. And I think you saw that. Just really a fun way to do it. And she was doing these Wow. Okay. All right. So, and I will tell you, who said this? Elaine Francis would love to go now. I wasn't painting watercolor. Ooh, yeah. Elaine, I'm with you. I was painting watercolor. Last time I was in France, I was watercoloring out of my Altoid tube. And I got to tell you, there was nothing more fun to do than that. It was.
Hi, welcome to Your Good Neighbor, CLT.
Oh, what a crazy person. Okay, man, I had more buttons to push this morning than I've ever had in my entire life. Okay, I got 10 minutes, Jason. I'm going to paint you a rooster, and it's going to come to France to you. Pat said, yeah, Pat, I have one of your paintings. Thank you very much. From a little window scene and a flower thing. I have one of your paintings from Paris, and I love it. Oh, my gosh. All right. Glad y'all got to see that. If you ever want to find, Eva Crawford, you can find her at Eva Crawford Art, I think, EVACRAWFORD, or watch this show again, and all the link will be there. And thank y'all for encouraging Margot this morning. How fun was that? Okay, all right, here we go. What I'm going to do right now is just do a little quick roux, and I'm going to do it with the lamb. No, I'm not. I'm going to start with a pen with this. I'll bring the Lamy in later. Here's a Pentel 07 needle tip. Do not think I'm using a ballpoint pen. If you want to do one, fine, but this is a needle tip. Why? Because I love the way the gel ink bleeds into the watercolor. And so I think what I need here is I need a rooster. No, I think I'm going to do it like this. I think I need this. I just changed midstream right there. Look at that. Just changed it midstream. There it is right there. Boom. What in the world is this roux doing? You're saying, I don't know, but we'll figure it out here. I think it's going to be one of these things where uh-oh, this one looks like it's running out of ink. Might have to change horses in the middle of the stream here. There's that roux right there. I know where I'm going with this, right? Let's take this Lamy pen right here. I think I could use a little music. What, I got 8 or 10 minutes here? I'm going to have to hustle to do this. Listen, thank you for just letting me interview a little long there with Margot. What a wonderful, good thinking young lady. I love it. Talented. And so, you know what? Y'all can encourage her. And I wish I'd have had somebody say to me when I first started playing the guitar and I was a young man, I wish I had somebody said, hey, do that. And so is that what I'm trying to be, a hero? Heck no. I'm just trying to find folks that we can encourage. And I just love it when that happens. So, all right. So this is just the Lamy pen here. Lamy, as John Robert Small would say, rhymes with mommy. And so that's the pen. It's just dark ink. It's the Lamy ink. I'm not using anything special out of it other than that. Just playing around with this water. I'm going to throw some water just on top of here, just clean water down in the hackle of this roux. Just let it build up a little bit like that. Leave some holidays in there. Haven't even woken up my page yet, so I won't. I'll just use some liquid watercolor. Let's do it this way. And I think I want those feathers to be splattered a little bit, just like that. Lift it up there and just blow it back in there just a tad. Just let it roll down. Blow it in a little bit like that. Yeah, that's a good way to get it done right there. Wow, that looks fun already. Okay, let's put a little bit of blue in the tail because I'm hurrying. What am I going to do with all this extra time? I hope Carol has taken Lucy to, I was going to make her pancakes, but she had a Belgian waffle yesterday. So I think she wants to go to, one of those places like Dunkin' Donuts. That's the treat when you come to my house. So we're either cooking it or we're going to get it. All right, here we go. Let me see. This is a little red. I'm going to drop right in there. Boom. This is what you call a 5-minute special here. This is the rooster that's a 5-minute special. This rooster is on his way to New Jersey next week. He's got to get there. Why? Because Jason's question had a little bit to do with art. And so his school does an art event at the end of the season, the end of the year, and people are able to come, and it's part of the encouragement they do for young people there to keep them in the arts. And I just think I'll explain it a little more as I get closer to it so you can hear about the event. So if I don't finish the detail on this, I'll finish it later and save you a photo so you can see what I'm doing. But I've got an idea here of where this is going. It just came to me right now. Honestly, you saw me starting in another direction, and then I went, oh, no, wait. I know exactly what this piece of art has to do. All right, so I've got a little bit of, I'm going to go get a clean brush, and I'm going to just roll in my palette here. I'm not in this palette at all. I'm all on this page. I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to get a little bit of yellow on my brush. Just roll it in like I would if I were using one of my bamboo brushes. I'm going to grab a little bit of red right here. And I think maybe that's going to give me the orange that I need for these legs, maybe with just a little more yellow right in here. Look at that. I love it when you find the paint in your painting. The painting becomes your palette. I love when that happens. I think there's a continuity that really is remarkable. It's like, oh, look at that. I didn't introduce a new color. I've still got some simpleness that really does work here. And I love that very much. I also need a little bit of something I don't have, so I'm going to get it right here from this pen. I'm going to get a little bit of gray right in this body. Now, I hit the red there, so I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to go blurt anything. Is there enough yellow here to paint the beak? Oh, yeah, look at that right there. Oh, man, that's a good-looking Roo. I'm not going to do much more to him. In fact, I'm going to let him alone, except I'm going to, excuse me. By the way, this is of interest to some of you. If you use the Pentel Intergel 05s and 07s, I did buy a full pack yesterday of refills. I got them in yesterday from the 05s. They look just like this when they come in. It's got to have 5 on the box. It has to have needle tip. But I keep these, instead of buying the whole new pens, I just keep these and put a refill in there. And just because I'm so frugal. All right. Just giving this a little bit of cross-hatching here. I'm going to come down with the paper, then I'm going to cross-hatch back this way. Why? Well, just because I like to have all my roosters grounded. Come in here with just a little bit of, let that pen bleed. Remember, this is not paint. This is the ink from that pen. That's a great Payne's gray. But I see a little green right here, so I'm going to go steal some green right there and bring it in and just give it a little touch of grass right under there. It doesn't have to have much, just a little bit to show. Maybe it's just some little grass sprouts coming up and a little bit of shadow for the tail hanging down there. Whoa, that looks good, even if I did do it myself. All right, let's see here. Got to have, I see paint somewhere without a top on it. Man, somebody should have told me about that. I was about ready to ruin a white shirt. Let me go in here with a little bit of, what is this, titanium white, and just give it a drop from way up high. Look at that, boom, one drop. And what else do I need? Oh, I know what I need. I didn't finish my drawing, and I've got, 3 or 4 minutes to go? All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this brush out like this. I'm going to bring this over here like so. And you see where I'm going now, right? And remember what I always do. I'm going to have to go to the palette. Said I wasn't, but I'm going to. Got to have some turquoise right here. Got to have a little Terry Tardy turquoise. Andrew's turquoise from Cheap Joe's. Hey, thanks for supporting Cheap Joe and being in touch with those people. They are such a sweet family of friends. I'm telling you, they are remarkable. Sorry, I just bumped my camera there with my head. I'm going to splatter down here on the page, and I'm just going to put this into here like this. All right. I think I'm going to grab a little more green from right here and just let that be a little bit of a lime green painting, a little more yellow, orange, red right here, and just bring in that other toe underneath the brush. Got to do a little detail. What am I, 1 minute to go? Ha! Nobody's watching the clock but me anyway. But my cast iron skillet's probably about ready to heat up. I got to go down there and fix something to eat today. What my dad used to say, I said, "Dad, are you hungry?" And he'd say, "I could eat a mama bear and her cubs." And I still say it today. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard, but it makes me laugh every time I think of it. You hungry? I could eat a mama bear and her cubs. You're like, wow, that's a big sandwich. All right, so I'm going to just put some fine little pen, just using my pen on top of the watercolor here to add some little roughness to this. I don't want it too clean and slick because I want it to be this rooster who's got some feathers loose because he's sort of standing on his head here and he's making art. And that's what the title is going to be. It's going to be something about being an artist, continue to be an artist. Watch, I'm going to do one last thing. Look at this right here. I'm going to pick this up and let it roll down. Watch the paint right here. Look. Watch what's happening right here. Oh, see that? You see that? I just made a river. Look. I'm going to add a little brush stroke right here to get that to break into this area. Look. And then let it run back down. Got a little marbleized paper action going there with that blue and that white. Oh my gosh, I love it when that happens. You can't make this stuff up with the brush, people. This is what happens when you just let watercolor be watercolor. Quit trying to put it in places it doesn't need to go. Okay, it just doesn't need to go there. So, okay. A little green right there. All right, I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to change this piece of paper and add some detail to it, but I almost got the whole thing in. I thought I was going to do 2, but as you can see, I have run out of time, and I'll be a good steward of your time. Right now, take a sip of your tea. Special thank you to Margot for being on the show today, getting up early on a Saturday morning. Just really sweet personality and a dear person to talk to. And when we stood there in the hot sun and talked, and I thought, I'd walk down the street. I was down the street about 50 yards, and I did a pivot. And I said, Carol, I'll see you in the next shop down. I got to go back and talk to her. And I went back and said, hey, look, this is weird, isn't it? But I'm going to give you this little card. And I painted her a little, and I said, I want you to, if you ever want to be on the show, you're the kind of young people I'm looking for. And I know some people that would love to encourage you. And so she did it. It was on her. And so I love that when that happens. And so thank you for being a part of that. Take a sip right now and encourage someone today in art. And thank you for being a part of Roodoodles Live. I really mean it. It's huge. Thank you for being a part of Patreon. The book is called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. It's on Amazon.com. Roobots, I sold some coloring books this week. I got to go sign those today. See if I can get stuff in the mail. I have been shooting video and running, and I'm working on this prison project that we might have talked about that's turning into a school, and I've got to go and finish the editing process on that, or I got to be in the room this week. I found out I went there to shoot the thing, and I wound up being the talent, which is kind of scary. But I'll tell you more about that later. So I'm just busy, and I'm thankful for it. So find some gratitude today, and I'll see you guys next time. Love it. All right. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Where's my harmonica when you need it?